Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. Today we are doing something very special. We're actually going to be checking out the Tobii Eye Tracker 5 and seeing how it works with X-Plane 12. Now, full disclosure, Tobii Gaming did send me an eye tracker for free, so big thank you to them. Having said that though, all opinions in this video are completely mine. They didn't tell me that I had to say this or that. They just said, hey, can you make a video on Tobii Eye Tracker, how it works, how to get it up and running for X-Plane 12. So I was like, yeah, sure, absolutely. Again, big thank you to Tobii Gaming for making this possible. Now, what does the Tobii Eye Tracker do? Now, it actually does what it says on the can. It tracks your eyes, where you're looking on your monitor, and then in various simulation games, whether that's flight sim, driving sim, racing sim, whatever. It's got a whole host of titles. Today we're going to be focusing on X-Plane 12. You can essentially use it to move your camera around rather than using your mouse, for example. Now, it does also have head tracking as well, and that means you can sort of combine the two to get a really seamless, intuitive experience for moving your camera around, looking around the cockpit. It's really very good. And first things first, as soon as I got it, I obviously opened it right up, so I don't really have video of me unboxing it. I will say, however, packaging is fantastic. It came sort of within a box, and then that purpley pink Tobii box that you may see on the screen right now. It's all nice, secure, no damage whatsoever. There are protective sort of film stickers on the Tobii Eye Tracker on the lenses, obviously to protect it in transport. And you do get a mount as well, like a bracket, which I'll show some pictures of now. It's actually really simple but clever design, and that can work really nicely if you have a even if you have a regular monitor, but also if you have a curved monitor as well. And I'll show you some pictures of that on the monitor right now. As you can see, I've got the Tobii Eye Tracker set up there, so it's just under the monitor. Or if you just look above on the bezel of my monitor, covering up the logo, they provide two of those magnetic sticky strips as well, which you can stick to your monitor if you have a flat bezel like me, and you can stick the Tobii Eye Tracker straight onto that. It's all magnetized. The Tobii Eye Tracker just clips right on, super easy. You do also get the manual, and also in the box there's sort of some instructions on how to mount it as well, which is really nice. I'll put a picture of that on the screen right now. And the other thing, you also get a USB extension. Now, the USB that comes out of the Tobii Eye Tracker is, I think, around 1 meter long, which I found sufficient for me. It's long enough. I've got a USB hub on my desk, so it plugs right into there. But if you do need an extension, they do provide you with one, which is brilliant. They've thought of everything. So now let's get into how to get it set up. Again, it's really simple, and we'll do that now. Okay, so once you plug your Tobii Eye Tracker in, sometimes it will automatically download the drivers and it'll pop up on your screen after a few minutes. If it doesn't do that, just go to this link here. I'll leave this as the first link in the description, and download this driver. Now, I downloaded it earlier, and if we go here, Tobii Eye Tracker 5 offline installer. So you want to click that, let it install, make sure your Tobii Eye Tracker is indeed plugged in. Now, I already did have this installed, so it probably went through that quite quickly, but it's not too big anyway. Then Tobii Eye Tracker, the experience software should pop up shortly. There it is, so we can open it there. And as you can see, Eye Tracker not set up for this display. So let's go ahead and set it up then. So just tell it that it's on this display, and then I'm going to move these so it lines up with white marks on the top of the eye tracker. So on the Tobii Eye Tracker itself, there's some white marks, and just get it to line up. That's all you need to do. Really simple. Click done. Now sit in a position you'd be sitting at when you're simming, for example. roughly, and it's going to show me my eyes. There it is. So as you can see, it's on the lower end of that box, so I'm just going to actually move my eye tracker one click down, and now look at each dot. The only reason I move the tracker down is so I've got the maximum sort of range if I move my head down a little bit. And I'm looking at the bottom one, top right, and it's perfect. So now that's doing its calibration. That should be done. Okay, I'm just going to save that as Drishal, that's fine. And okay, that is now done. We actually don't need that installed anymore. Now we need to go and actually go to downloads here, Tobii Eye Tracking, and now we need the Tobii Game Hub. Okay, so we're going to download that, and as you can see, I'm using Vivaldi here, very nice browser. So we're going to download that. Just give that a second to download. Shouldn't take too long. There it is. So we'll download the Game Hub as well. Just load the setup.exe. Now this isn't something I've done yet, so okay, I don't want a start menu shortcut. I will have a desktop shortcut. There it is. Boom, and we're in. Now, if we go to games here, as you can see, it's already picked up a lot of my games that are that you can use the eye tracker for, such as you can see, Microsoft Flight Sim. So if we go to X-Plane, and we need to just tell it where X-Plane is, so we can click open. Like that, click install. Now if you get this error here, configuration failed, there is a workaround. It's very simple. I actually had to contact Tobii Eye Tracking, their support team, to get this fixed, but they were absolutely brilliant. They are working to fix this issue, so hopefully this should be fixed in the Game Hub, but they did provide some fantastic support, and I'll show you how to get around this now. The software, sorry, the plugin which you need for X-Plane is actually already installed. It just, this Game Hub just moves it from one location to the other. So in order to do that, you want to go to press your Windows key, type in percentage app data, percentage, just like that. Open your app data folder, okay? You want to go to your local, and then just hit T so it brings you down to Tobii Game Hub. Click this app 3.4.1 and X-Plane Tobii plugin. Copy this, Control C, go to your X-Plane resources, plugins, and copy it there. That's all the app technically does. When you hit that install plugin, it just copies it across, but we can just do that manually. That's not a problem. So we can close that, and I guess we can just ignore this Tobii Game Hub plugin. It will, it'll work when we load into X-Plane. They will be fixing this shortly. They've already told me they have a team of devs working on it, so I do want to emphasize that. Yes, not perfect process. Some of you may not even have this issue, in which case just go ahead and click install plugin. If you do have the issue, they provided me with a workaround and it works just fine. So here's all the settings. Let's hop into X-Plane and check it out. Okay, so here we are loaded up in X-Plane. I've not touched any of the Tobii Eye Tracker settings, and as you can see, we can look around. It's reacting to where I'm looking and all that good stuff. So let's go through some of the settings. Then I'm going to turn on the Tobii bubble so you guys can see where I'm seeing, where I'm looking as well. Okay, so here we are, and as you can see, X-Plane 12 is now running. Of course, it still says you need to install Tobii Game Hub plugin. We did that before, explained that before. For now, we can ignore that until they get a fix out, but it all works. Now, what you can do is create a new profile, call it whatever you want. So I'm just going to call it Drishal. There we are. You can actually assign hotkeys so you can switch between your profiles, and you can of course export it as well. Now, before we start messing around with this stuff here, I think the first thing that we need to do is do an enable and disable key, okay, and a reset. So you can have a hold or hold to disable, hold to enable. So you can have it so that you can either toggle it on and off with a button. You can have it so that it only is enabled when you have a button pressed, which is quite cool. If you want to look around, you just got to hold a button on your joystick, or you can hold to disable, which is the opposite. I like toggle, so I'm going to leave it there. If you click this no hotkey assigned, you can now assign a key. Now it doesn't have to be on your keyboard, it can of course be on your flight control hardware, so I'm going to do that now. There we are. You can see on my side stick there, I've got a button, so I'll assign that. And reset head tracking, this resets to the center. So this is quite useful as well. And you want to set this, I'm going to set it again to a button on my joystick. There we are. Assign. So now we have that done. Let's go through some of the settings here. So first things first, we can ignore that. First things first, we've got the head tracking settings. So this is head tracking for the rotation. So at the moment, this is how our head will move when we rotate our head. So, and this is not using eye tracking at the moment. As you can see, the eye tracking is actually off by default right now. So let's just hop in the sim, unpause here. I'm gonna, if I click that button, I can now, as you can see, it's now paused, it's not moving around. I can restart it, and I'm gonna get myself into a nice comfortable position where I might be sat, look at the center of my monitor, and then I'm going to hit the reset button. There we are. Okay, and as you can see now, I'm gonna look around. There we are. And I can just adjust my sensitivities as I want. Now, it's actually, I think my sensitivities there are quite nice. I actually quite like it like that, so I might not change these too much. It feels quite good as it is. Let's just hop into the sim, back into the Tobii Game Hub. And as you can see, you can add a limit. So if you don't want to look all the way around to 180 degrees, I can put it on 90. And now I can't look any further than 90 degrees, as you can see, both ways. But I can increase that. I'm just going to have it at around there. Obviously, don't need to look directly back in my seat, but I'm going to put it there. Sensitivity, again, you can change that. So I'm gonna, if I put that on 12, now I move my head very, very slightly, and it's incredibly sensitive. I know it's difficult to show on the video, but that's really sensitive now. If I can turn it down as well, and now I have to move my head a whole lot more. I mean, I'm moving my head almost 90 degrees there, and it's only barely moving. So let's set that back to around 2. That was nice. And you can of course add a curve. You can mess around with the curve. You can do really all sorts. So I'm actually just gonna not have a curve, and you can add a dead zone as well. So I might add a very slight 0.1 dead zone. Just like that. That's pretty good in my opinion. And you can do the same for pitch and for roll. So if we enable head roll, we can now roll our head as well. But I'm not going to have that enabled. And the same goes for pitch. So what I might do here is just lower the limits very slightly. That looks good to me. Very, very nice indeed. And obviously we have roll disabled. Now we have head position, and if we turn this on, you can see that if I'm like physically move my head to the left, not rotate my head, but move my head to the left, you can see how it moves. I can move forward and back. It's really cool, and up and down as well. And you can adjust all of that stuff here. The sensitivities as well. So actually the y-axis, I'm gonna lower the limits slightly, and the z-axis is forwards and backwards. I'm gonna increase the limits a little bit there, and increase the sensitivity as well. See now, it's difficult to move my head around and talk into the mic at the same time, but what I'm gonna do is, using all of these various degrees of freedom, the rotation and the just a general movement, look around this the pillar on the left here. So as you can see, we can look around the pillar. Now there, my mic got in the way of my of my eyes there for a second. Okay, so as you can see, I now have the Tobii bubble, so you can see exactly where I'm looking as well. So let's head back into the Tobii Game Hub. There we are. And now we've done our head tracking, we'll come back to camera boost. This is a very cool feature that they just recently added. But we'll go to the eye tracking settings, and what I'm going to do, just for the purpose of this showcase, is disable head tracking for a second. So as you can see in X-Plane now, the camera's not moving, reacting to my head. But if we enable eye tracking, here we can set the responsiveness of how fast the camera will react to where I look, and the limits as well. So what I need to do is actually increase the limits. So I'm going to put about 90 degrees on both. This is extreme, but and increase the responsiveness, but I just want to, so I can show you how it works. So I'm going to look at the center-ish on my screen down the runway, as you can see. Look at my PFD, look at my the FCU there, look at the overhead, look to my left, look to my right. It's very cool indeed. Now if I lower the responsiveness, you can see now it's very slow. In fact, let me put it a little bit higher. Now it's a bit slower to react, as you can see. And what I'm going to do is put the responsiveness back up and just decrease the limits very slightly. So now, as you can see, it's adjusting slightly when I look around, but also not too much as well. I'm going to reset my view here. There we are, that's better. And when you reset your view, you can use the keybind on your joystick, or you can just use your number 1 on your keypad, or whatever you use to go back to your default sort of view in X-Plane anyway. And as you can see, I'm looking around and it's following my eyesight. Now the best way to use the Tobii Eye Tracker is obviously with head tracking and with eye tracking as well. So as I look around, the camera moves just a little bit, not too much. But if I want to look fully to the left, I can. If I want to look fully to the right, I can. And in fact, you can almost sort of look behind you a little bit if you're in a Cessna or something. You can look around the pillars like that. If there's a blind spot, really cool if you're on like a RNAV approach, especially into like a mid-era, for example. It is really cool. In fact, I used it in one of my recent live streams. Well, there you can see exactly how it's all working out. If you want to look at the overhead panel quickly to adjust some of the switches, lighting, you can do. And then look down at the PFD there. Look at the engine display. I want to look down at the lower pedestal now. Really easy, really intuitive, and of course, it might take you some time to really refine these settings, but once you do it, they are absolutely brilliant. Now. Another Tobii Ghost Bubble is still up, but let's continue. It's actually quite useful for stuff like this as well. And the Tobii Ghost Bubble, very simple to install. You just download it from the same link and install it and add it into OBS. Super simple. It shows you exactly how to do it. Now, there's center view on disable. So if I disabled it now, it just stops where it is, as you can see. If I turn this on, there we are, and I look to the left and I disable it, it centers automatically, as you can see. So that's what that does. Pretty self-explanatory. I'm going to leave it on because I quite like it. Got the head auto center. So this, as your head naturally moves during a session, you might move your chair a little bit, move your head a little bit. It subtly changes your sort of neutral point. So that it always feels quite natural to just look ahead, down the runway, for example. So I really like this feature. I'm going to leave it on. Then we have third person camera as well. As you can see, orbital, camera distance, roll and chase, all of that good stuff. That's all pretty self-explanatory. Now, let's come back here to camera boost. So what does camera boost do then? Now, what this does is, I'll try and demonstrate this for you now, is your head tracking sensitivity will increase when you look at the edge of your screen. So if again, it's kind of difficult to show on camera because you can't see how much I'm moving my head, But if I look at the left of my screen and now rotate my head to the right, the sensitivity is quite a lot less. Like I can barely get around to 90 degrees. If I now look to the right of the screen, right to where I want to move my head, and then rotate my head. Now I'm rotating my head the exact same amount there. As you can see, I've got a lot more. So that's what camera boost does. It actually feels very intuitive. So when you want to move your head, if you're looking at where you want to move, it'll move your camera more. The sensitivity will increase. There is there is an aircraft barreling towards us. EasyJet there. We're here sat at Edinburgh. That's fine. It's Traffic Global doing Traffic Global things. But if you're not looking at where you want to rotate your camera, then the sensitivity is less. And this is actually really natural feeling. I really like this feature as well, actually. It just means you can control your sensitivity by where you look as well. And you don't even really have to think about it. It's just very, very natural. When I want to look at the overhead panel, suddenly it becomes all the more sensitive. But it feels natural. It's so good. It's difficult to explain. It's sort of one of those things that you need to try, So then, let's go for a quick takeoff. Let me just reset my view here. By no means a procedure takeoff, just for the purpose of this video. Pretty much just going to be manual on the thrust as well. So let's just go toga here. Very, very quick takeoff. We have the True Earth as well, taking off from Edinburgh here. And it's very, very, very cool. Looking down at my PFD, you guys can see where I'm looking as well. We'll probably do a quick little, maybe a teardrop or something, and come back into land. So you can see where I look when I land as well. 140, we'll rotate there. Obviously we didn't calculate any V speeds, but that's fine. Gear can go up. And look at the scenery here. I'm going to pull the power a little bit. Fantastic. Look at that. We can even go to our wing view here. Look around from our wing view. Does IAE. Fantastic engines. Beautiful Edinburgh. So, what I'm going to do now is set myself up for a little bit of an ILS approach, and I shall see you in a second. Okay, so here we are. As you can see, we're on this ILS approach. We are we are high. That's fine. I'm not trying to show off, the actual flying. I'm trying to show off the Tobii Eye Tracker. You can see where I'm looking. Right now I'm looking at the runway. Now I'm looking at the PFD. I can see that we're very high. But we can look around as well. 500. This camera boost, I tell you, is really, really good. It really changes the whole... it changes the game. It really does. You guys can see exactly where I'm looking. 300. For this landing. It's a horrible, terrible approach. But we're going to go with it. We even got a sink rate warning. 100. A little bit better now. 50, 40, 30, and look to the 20, end of the runway. 10, 5. Come on, what a floater. There we are. Fantastic. There we are. Okay. I'm gonna pause that there because I don't actually have my rotor pedals connected and I don't have brakes. So, anyway. I hope that has been a nice showcase of the Tobii Eye Tracker, how to get it all set up, and just what a fantastic product it is now. Tobii are having their Bonanza right now, so you can get 15% off the Tobii Eye Tracker. So from right now to the 5th of August, the Tobii Eye Tracker 5 is on sale for 15% off. And I will leave a affiliate link for myself in the description below. If you do want to pick this up, it's at no additional cost to you. It might just help out the channel a little bit. Again, very big thank you to Tobii for providing a Tobii Eye Tracker to test and review and make this video as well. So overall, what do I think of the Tobii Eye Tracker then? I really like it. As you can see, we can still moving around. You can still see the ghost bubble where I'm looking. at my monitor. Overall, it changes the simming experience drastically. It is, you know, one of the single biggest changes I've had to my simming in terms of hardware. It is fantastic. Now, you know, I've showcased it in an airliner today, the A321. However, I think this is also very useful for GA aircraft as well. In fact, maybe more so. You know, there's more lookouts to be doing in a GA aircraft, flying circuits. You know, your visual with the airfield. So it's really useful to just sort of be able to look to the left, look over your shoulder, um, to see the airfield. You know, see when you want to make your base turn, for example. So it's really useful in a variety of aircraft, even airliners, I think, and I fly majority airliners, you know. Of course, we've just covered X-Plane 12 today. Very useful in other sims, you know, Microsoft Flight Sim, DCS, IO2 as well, I believe, if you're into that. But also driving sims, racing sims. You know, I've used it in Euro Truck, F1, and it's really a fantastic piece of equipment if you just, you know, like simming across the board like me. I fly, drive various simulators, so it's a big change for me. Now, you know, it might take a little bit of getting used to be honest. It is very natural feeling, but still takes maybe a little bit of getting used to. But in all honesty, it's definitely worth it. You know, I used it for like one flight and boom, used to it straight away. Especially once you get your settings all sorted and your settings sort of refined. It might take maybe 1 or 2 flights to do that. You know, then you're good to go. And again, like I said, installation is super easy. I do recommend this product. It's really easy to set up. Something else which I also think is worth noting is that the Tobii Eye Tracker works even if you wear glasses. So I have tried this out. I don't personally wear glasses, but some members of my family do, and they've tried it out. Didn't even need to recalibrate, and it worked just fine. Additionally, because of the custom mount that they give you, which I showed earlier, it does work well with curved monitors as well. I've also tried the Tobii Eye Tracker in low light conditions, and it has worked just fine. So all of those pose no issues for the Tobii Eye Tracker. Now, something I do want to mention based on talking about the support. The support were absolutely fantastic. They replied very quickly. They were really helpful. Like I said, provided the fix. They also put a team of developers on this to try and resolve the issue in a new update for the Game Hub. So they have been very good. And bearing in mind, they didn't know who I am. If that makes sense. They didn't know I was a content creator. They didn't know I was making this video because I didn't use an email associated with my YouTube. It was a personal email. So they wouldn't have known. And I'm really glad that the support is good. You know, you're spending a fair bit of money. It's not a cheap product. So you want support to be good afterwards. And for me, it was. I had a very good experience, and I know other people have had good experiences with Tobii as well. Thank you all very much for watching. If you have any questions about this, leave them in the comments below. Ask me in my Discord, wherever you can really. I'll do my best to try and answer them all. Thank you very much, and I shall see you in the next one.